Now, welcome to this new series on understanding payments. You see, over the past few years, the availability of physical cash has greatly reduced. I'm sure 20 years back, 30 years back, people used to work with lots and lots of money. And whenever they used to go to purchasing anything, they would pay via cash. But right now, that has greatly reduced. Even myself, the number of, I don't work with cash anymore, but so many people don't work with cash. But now that has introduced a good platform known as the online payment system. And there are payments everywhere. There's payments which is like bank to bank transfers, which never existed a few years back. There are payments which are credit card payments. There are payments which are crypto payments. There are payments which are just different type of payments. And I want to understand such kind of payments and also to share what I've learned on such kind of payments. So today we'll start with card payments and to understand how does card payment really works. Well, for starters, card payment has four critical parts and five is like an overseer. The first part that it has is me, the card holder. Like this, I have my card. Here it's my card. It has my details. So I am the card holder. But the second thing that I have is this called the person who issued for me this card. It's called the issuing bank. Now, this bank, you can see here, this is called KCB, Kenya Commercial Bank, one of the biggest banks in Kenya. Now, KCB is the issuing bank and they have my details. They know how much money I have in my account. They know if this card is expired, right? They know if this card has been reported as stolen. They know all information about this card is held and known by them, plus the money as well. Now, on the opposite of the transaction, we have the merchant. Now, this merchant is well known by their bank. There are several kinds of merchants which offer different kinds of services. So there's a merchant who is an online platform. They may be selling tickets. There's a merchant who is a physical store, like a hotel. There's a merchant who is I've done physical online. There's a merchant of petrol station, and there are different type of merchants who sell things that are high risk and others are low risk. So there's a merchant who is a tour operator, which is low risk maybe, but there's a merchant who is selling guns online, which is high risk. There's a merchant who is selling drugs, which is also a high risk. So this information is known by the merchant. This is Mastercard they have something called a merchant MCC, merchant category code, and they're able to risk different ratings. So an acquirer knows I'm onboarding a merchant who is this, has this specific kind of risk. And now we have the merchant. The other side, we have the merchant's bank, which is called the acquiring bank. Now, the acquiring bank is a person, or rather the bank that receives the transaction on behalf of the merchant and settles the merchant's account. And overall, we have now the schemes or the networks. So this card is called MasterCard. This is my MasterCard card, right? There are Visa card, and then there is Visa card, and there's Europay, and then there are others around the world, right? Yeah, so they come up with different rules or rather standards of how a transaction should be handled, how dispute should be handled, and any kind of parameter should be handled. Let me give an example. I walk into a place called my favorite eatery, CJ's, and I'm seated at CJ's and I've enjoyed my meal. And as I'm enjoying my meal, after I'm done, the cashier comes in or the waiter comes in and says like, hey, it's time to pay. And immediately I remove my card because I know my card. I know MasterCard can do this. So with this card, there are several things we can note. This card has digits here, right? There are 16 digits. They are called PAN, primary identification number. But in these digits, the first 6 digits over here, these are called the BIN. And these BIN are issued by MasterCard, and that they're able to trace where this card belongs to, right? They can know that this card is a debit card. It's a reloadable card which has been issued by KCB, right? And if it was a Visa card, it could have started with number 4, right? And many other numbers. So this is publicly available information called the BIN. It's called Bank Identification Number. Okay? Now, once this BIN has been received, the transaction is routed again to my account number, right? So I take my card And also another thing that also, it has this here, this it's called like a Wi-Fi sign, but this shows it has a near field technology. So I just have to tap, and within 3 seconds, transaction is approved or declined. Then another thing is this side of here. This is a magnetic strip. Some time back, people used to swipe and used to get details of the card here, and they used to use that. But right now, they don't use this more often. They use this card, this chip here. So inside here, there's a chip, and this chip cannot work alone. This chip, for it to work, it must have a terminal. Now, the merchant comes with the other part. So we have part A, the card, and the merchant has part B. And now, the merchant comes in, I either come and tap or insert, right? Now, if I insert, it picks your details of this. It picks off the account number, it picks off the expiry date, it picks off several other details like who the merchant is, where his location, and how much money is being required. And all this information is passed through the acquiring bank using the standards which have been set by Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. And that request comes in to my bank, comes into KCB, and they say, hey, Eugene wants to pay for his food at the merchant's place, wants to pay for his food at CJ's, and wants to pay 1,000 shillings. Now my bank says, Eugene has 2,000 shillings in account. He can comfortably pay for this amount, right? Eugene's card is not expired. It is genuine, right? So it is okay. And then also the merchant himself has a good record as well. So I'm okay with this transaction. And so within 3 seconds, a feedback comes in, says like, oh, this merchant, this payment has been approved. Now, the inverse happens. At times, I may make this payment, but my card is expired, like this is what I'm easily showing online. And once you go to go and make this payment, it's going to be rejected. And the terminal will read expired card. And because it's expired, there's no need of this person even retrying again, right? And then they'll come, and even another error might come, is stolen card. There's no need of even retrying that. But there are times that you can also retry. Now another request can come in, can say like, hey, Eugene is requesting to pay for $1,000, or rather maybe 1,000 shillings, for the merchant who is based in Dubai. But they know Eugene has not traveled to Dubai. A few minutes ago, he has just made a payment in CJ's. So then my bank can reject that payment, can say, you're not going to honor that payment. And we're going to get declined on the POS side, on the merchant's terminal, the other side's terminal. Now, what about online payments? Same thing. Online payments have the merchant's website. I can give an example of TicketSasa. TicketSasa sell tickets to events. Now, they can come like, hey, there's this wonderful event, you come and pay. So when I go to click up to checkout page, if you notice, the checkout page changes from the provider. The first provider would be the merchant, but when I click checkout, it changes out to as a payment service provider, someone who understands the rules of transferring such kind of data, a person who can even initiate such kind of transactions, right? So it changes. Now there are several in Kenya. We have PesaPal among others, right? Now, once I'm in the checkout page, I am prompted to put in my name. I'm prompted to put in my card details. I'm prompted to put my expiry date, right? But something else new I'm prompted to do is to put here my CVV or my CVC. These are 3 digits number that are only based on, they only link this number and this on this card, and they're used to authenticate this card. You see, online payments are all service providers are allowed to store this kind of payments, the name, the expiry date, and several other things. And this is because for recurring payment. Like every time maybe I make my Netflix subscription, I don't pay every time. This information is already stored. But there's an information which cannot be stored, which is called the CVV. So, and then to prevent fraudsters from, once they acquire the card information, they cannot be able to initiate a transaction because they don't have a CVV. So once I'm doing my online transaction, I am prompted to put in my CVV. This one, no, now the website knows that this person actually had the card. Now, all those information, my name, the expiry amount, are pushed through the acquirer, now that is the merchant's bank, and goes to my bank. And my bank checks everything and says that Eugene wants to play for a play at 1,000 shillings. And the bank can go like, good, Eugene has the money, it's the right time, it's everything is okay with this transaction. Let me get to release it. Now, how do fraudsters attack such kind of systems? As I said, one, this CVV, these first 4 digits, 6 digits, are publicly available information. Now, since they're publicly available information, a fraudster can come and want to attack my card. These are 16 digits. All that they have to do is generate the 16 digits, right? So they can use something called a numeration attack. They can come and have bots to go to maybe a specific platform and try to guess all these numbers, and they do that, right? The second thing that they do is that also this card information is stored by the payment service providers. And so there are times where there have been leakages of this card information, right? And so many other ways that fraudsters get to use. At times it's stolen. You see, if my card is lost right now, this card, I don't report it. Within the next few minutes, somebody can come and make this payment, think that it's me. Another thing people can do is take a picture of my card, expose it online, and then also try to make online purchases. Okay, now that is how money is moved on one side, but it hasn't really moved. Only that the merchant CJs have only gotten an approval token, just say like payment successful, but that money is not with them. So what happens is, at the very end of the day, using the payment service providers, they will initiate a second settlement now. They will, during the day, they'll batch all their payments together. They've received maybe mine from KCB, the next person from Equity, the next person from, I don't know which other bank. Maybe 10 people came from KCB. And they'll batch them all together and say now from KCB Bank, we request for 10,000 Kenya shillings. And so this request that will come in the second time, it will go now to the bank. And now this is now through the MasterCard and the Visa card, the networks. And they will request them to settle those amounts. And now maybe money will move through RTGS or SWIFT or whichever way through my account, the issuing account, to the acquirer's bank, and then also to the senders or to the merchant's bank. So this process takes like 2 or 3 days. The first day, this transaction has happened. The second day is now the batching and the clearing, and the third day, you have your money in your account. So it takes such kind of period for the person to receive the money. And now, so CJs won't receive my 1,000 right now immediately, and you won't receive 1,000 tomorrow. But maybe it will receive in 2 days 10,000 for all the merchants. And now the same, it will go now the same way. MasterCard or the acquirer came to my bank in KCB, they'll also go to their bank, their other people's bank in Equity. They also go to the other people's bank in Stanbic, and all of other person getting all this money, collecting all this money from different issuers to one acquirer, and that acquirer to the merchant. So the merchant gets a big payment. Now on fees, everybody eats on this thing. Man, MasterCard must eat, must get his money. My bank must eat. The acquirer bank must get their money. Then all this money is given like a percentage to the merchant. So maybe it's get like 1%, 1% or 0. Something%. So all the way to the merchant gets the balance. So that's how money moves from my card to the merchant's card. I believe that has been insightful. And next time we shall learn about maybe the reversal now, how chargebacks work. We shall learn about refunds. We shall learn about further things. And then after that, now we shall get to learn about internet banking and also how money moves around the world through maybe things like cross-border payments and all. Anyway, guys, goodbye.